Currently, we are on the part of dedication of virtue toward complete enlightenment. In order that all virtue accomplished diligently in this way may clear away the suffering of limitless beings, it is the practice of Bodhisattvas to dedicate all virtue toward enlightenment with the knowledge of the three spheres of complete purity. Virtue results from training in and accomplishing persistently in the practices of the Bodhisattvas as explained above, with great diligence that makes one joyful enter into one's practice. As exemplified by that virtue, all virtuous deeds accumulated in the three times by oneself and others must without exception be dedicated so that they may dispel all the sufferings of limitless gatherings of beings and become the cause of perfect enlightenment for the welfare of others. Now one does so with the knowledge that it is completely free from the stains of apprehending a true existence of the three spheres, which is the object of dedication, the one who dedicates, and the process of dedication. This is the practice whereby all bodhisattvas skillfully avoid any dissipation of the virtues' accumulation and instead make them increase further and further. So you must understand it that at times of making dedication, you have to practice it with the emptiness of the threefold emptiness. The object of dedication, the one who dedicates, so the subject and object, and then the process of dedication. So you would practice with the understanding that the true nature is of emptiness, instead of holding on to the object of dedication and the one who dedicates, thinking that, oh, I made this offering 10 years ago, holding on to it for a long period of time. So it is not necessary to think that, oh, I've made an offering to this particular monastery for $30,000 back then, and I've did so and so for 10 years. I've done so and so 10 years ago. In Tibet, we say that we would say that one would start to boast about one's own virtue in front of someone who is riding on a horse while standing, and one would talk about the virtues one has carried out in front of people who are walking, which means talking about one's virtue in all circumstances and to everyone. From a sutra, it says that everything is circumstantial and it depends entirely on one's aspiration. The one who makes an aspiration will achieve its result accordingly. At times of making the aspiration of rededicating merit, you need to remember that you're rededicating the merit for all sentient beings. Though as mundane beings, we sometimes would wish that let me be happy, let me be healthy, let me be without illness. We would have those kinds of aspirations, which is fine. But what's more important is to rededicate the merit to the sick ones, to the sentient beings, to the others. And then according to the way of the Bodhisattva, it says that whether actually or indirectly, one persists in nothing but the benefit of sentient beings and must dedicate everything toward enlightenment for the sole benefit of sentient beings. Hence, one must dedicate in order to attain perfect enlightenment for the benefit of sentient beings. This is a supreme dedication, since by dedicating in this way, the root of virtue will not become exhausted before reaching enlightenment, but will only further increase. The sutra requested by inexhaustible intelligence says the following: when dedicated towards enlightenment, the root of virtue will not become exhausted before the attainment of the essence of enlightenment. Now, at the time of rededicating merit at the end of the class, we need to remember that we're dedicating the merit for the sentient beings, and so that our meritorious roots would not be dispersed or exhausted. If we do not rededicate merit, then maybe tomorrow I would generate maybe a thought of regression, and then all of my virtue would be exhausted. Whatever I've done with great diligence, let it be listening to the class or any virtuous deeds, if it is done without a rededication of merit, then it is easy to destroy that virtuous root. For that reason, we need to rededicate the merit. On the other hand, the effect will not be utterly inexhaustible if one fails to dedicates wrongly, dedicates the virtue as a cause for inferior cyclic existence, or dedicated as cause for mere liberation. But if one dedicates the root of virtue towards the perfect enlightenment, it will become inexhaustible. So you need to avoid the kinds of false rededication of merit, such as it fails to rededicate merit or dedicates it wrongly, dedicates the virtue as a cause for inferior cyclic existence, or dedicates its cause for mere liberation. One sutra uses a drop of water that falls on a dry ground as an example of a lack of dedication and so forth, while a drop of water that falls into the ocean exemplifies dedication towards supreme enlightenment. As you would understand that a drop of water would quickly dry off and evaporate if it is on a dry ground. However, a drop of water would not evaporate if it were to fall into the ocean, which is enlightenment. The way of Bodhisattva uses the analogy of the fruit of miraculous tree and plantain tree. Concerning the manner of dedication, it is said in a sutra, if done with attributes, it is not dedication. If free of attributes, it is the enlightened dedication. Hence, a dedication made with the belief in the true existence of three spheres of observations, the object of dedication, the one who dedicates, and the act of dedication is not a completely pure dedication. Aside from being mere convention and mental imputation, the three spheres do not truly exist in their own right. To dedicate with such an insight is the dedication of complete purity. Now, according to Lord Atisha, he said, even though one may endeavor in virtue with the three doors day and night, if one does not know the dedication toward perfect enlightenment, it can become exhausted by a few wrong thoughts. Tomorrow, by the way, you should not circumambulate the mandala because there would be an inspection going on from some authority, a provincial authority visiting. It is not that we're trying to conceal anything. Rather, it is for the purpose of traveling and commute and for the purpose of the traffic, rather, and various reasons. It is better for you to simply stay at home to engage in diligent practice and rededication of merit. Also, you should endeavor in all virtues in various ways and then immediately dedicate such virtue towards omniscience. If you do that, even an accumulation of merit will turn into wisdom, and likewise, the accumulation of wisdom will become meritorious. That is to say that if you practice very diligently but do not practice dedication of merit, on one hand, even one thought of anger would destroy all the virtues that you've accumulated. On the other, if you can practice the rededication of merit to the supreme enlightenment in such a way, even the meritorious, the virtuous deeds will turn into the merit and accumulation to cultivate wisdom, and wisdom to virtuous deeds. In such a way, we would fulfill both of the virtuous deeds as well as the wisdom's accumulation. For example, at times of practicing prostration, not only you can accumulate virtue, you can accumulate wisdom, platform as well if you can rededicate merit properly. In such a way, I think Pangsuk Rinpoche is indeed such a great being because he had taught on the importance of aspiration at the beginning and taught us how to practice wholeheartedly and carefully while in the on-cushion meditation or the formal meditation. And then he taught us how to practice rededication of merit. So I hope that all of you would be able to share those teachings to the others. So this would be really wonderful. Nowadays, so we have all kinds of platforms such as cell phones, and you can share whichever way you want. If people can learn how to rededicate merit, this is a teaching or a sharing of teaching that would lead to the enlightenment of sentient beings, to liberate sentient beings. Whatever virtue is accumulated throughout the 3 times dedicated towards the unsurpassable great enlightenment, the merit will rub off sentient beings. While seeing all phenomena without conceptualizing the 3 spheres, the root of virtue is to be dedicated towards all sentient beings and universal complete enlightenment, according to Zheng Tunpa.
Nibe jana banshi jang kirka nanchi ranong chuba chubam tsolen zhuwa zhuwa